Welcome, Player Profiler. Today, news prime time. I'm your host, Jake. You could follow me on X, whatever, Twitter, Lewy Lewis 5. If you don't know how to spell it, it's right there on your screen. But for you listeners, Lewy, Lewis, and the number 5. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. Remember to check back for all of us here at Player Profiler throughout the week, keeping you up to date with news and notes from around the league, and always, of course, giving you our fantasy advice. On today's show, I will be covering news that's happening around the league, giving my draft or my free agent grades for the skilled positions for all of them per team. And I'm doing a new segment called Louie's Rookie of the Week. Without further ado, let's get fantasy. So, news around the league. I'm sure you probably already heard it, but, well, the Bengals have reached an extension with Tee Higgins. After having back-to-back franchise tagged 4 years, $115 million extension. Oh, sorry. And they made Ja'Marr Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in league history. They also signed him for a 4-year, $161 million extension. The Bengals have locked up the wide receiver duo for years to come. What does this mean? The Bengals give us fantasy players what we want, a high-powered offense led with Joe Burrow under center. He's going to be a stud for the next 4 years probably. It's just going to be dominating with having both these players on the field at the same time, as well as him. He will just have to remain healthy. He's already had 2 seasons where he did not finish the year. But once again, if he stays healthy, he'll be a top 5 quarterback in fantasy once again. His dynasty value to me is arrows pointing up for Joe Burrow. For Tee Higgins, he is too good of a receiver to keep him down. The only thing for him as well is, can he stay healthy? Because the last 2 seasons, he's only played in 12 games, and he's finished wide receiver 51 and wide receiver 17. If he could play in every single game, there's no reason why he can't finish as a wide receiver 1 on the year. In the top 12 but that's the biggest thing, is he has to stay healthy for them to, I guess, make this worthwhile. For Ja'Marr Chase, since coming into the league, he's finished 5, 12, 11, and this year, number 1. He won the Triple Crown this year, and he will be a top 1, 2, 3 pick in redraft leagues for this upcoming season. And in Dynasty, to me, he's already worth at least 3 first-round picks, and he's still only 25. He is in his prime with Joe Burrow still in place, throwing him the ball, and Tee Higgins on the other side of the field. All arrows pointing up for this Bengals offense, and it's just ridiculous seeing, and I'm so happy that they got those 2 contracts figured out. I don't know how they're going to make it work, but hey, for right now, they have it figured out. They're probably going to do something like the Eagles, pushing money down the road, but you kind of have to keep pace with that division. And what better way to have your 2 stud receivers? Another historic contract in the last couple of days is Texans signing Derek Stingley on a 3-year, $90 million deal. He's now the highest paid cornerback in league history. He will only hold on to this highest paid cornerback until either Trent McDuffie or Sauce Gardner gets an extension this offseason or next. But for now, congratulations, Stingley, on the historic contract. Before we get into grades for fantasy or free agency, let's hear a word from the Podfather.
I am proud to announce that Fast Draft now has an all-defense game called D-Up. That's right, fans of IDP finally have a real money best ball game that they can play. No more manually setting up leagues every time you want to do a draft. No. Now you can play for $10,000, $2,000 to first. Could draft up to 30 teams, all defense. And the best part, balanced scoring, tackles for loss, pass breakups. It all factors in. Just draft 6 defensive players, top 4 into your lineup every week. It's that easy. It's so easy that this isn't just for IDP people. If you love the NFL, then you'll love this game. And for the first time with Fast Draft, you can sweat both sides of the ball on Sunday. So use your host's promo code to get a $25 deposit match, and you'll love this D-Up contest because it's about time we got one.
Love the Podfather. Also, you could use my promo code LouisLewis5. That's the same as what my Twitter handle is. So be sure to put that in for a match up to $25. Also, another great way for you to stay in touch with us is, you're already doing it. You're listening to the YouTube. Check us out on our shows, our podcast at Player Profiler. And also check out my own personal podcast at Fantasy Endzone. I come out with a new episode every Tuesday during the off season. And during the regular season, I have episodes on Tuesday and Fridays. But be sure to follow us, click the little notification button, and we'll keep you in touch with news and notes from around the league and giving you us our best fantasy advice. Grade that team. I will be covering each team, who they sign in skilled position, giving my overall thoughts on each one, also giving away grades. We'll start with the AFC, going from North Division South, or North, East, South, West divisions, and then we'll slide into NFC. Starting right off with the Bengals, I mean, we already talked about it. Tee Higgins signed a franchise tag. Now he's a 4-year, $115 million extension. That's huge. Mike Gesicki, 3 years, $25.5 million. My grade for this would be a B. The Higgins, of course, is great as long as he can stay healthy. That's the biggest issue, and the main problem is he's only, once again, played 12 games in the last 2 seasons, or 12 games each of the last 2 seasons. Mike Gesicki is maybe a top 20 tight end. So for them to give him this kind of deal is eye-popping. It's not in a good way. I know Eric All is not playing this coming season with a torn ACL, but he's got to play more than 65% snaps. I think that's really way average. I think is technically like 66%, but he's got to play a lot more than that. He has to play 75 to 80% snaps for him to be fantasy relevant, in my opinion. Like, I just want to see that production. I want to see him on the field doing the blocks, everything else. I keep on seeing them getting mocked too, like draft a tight end in the first round. I don't like that either. To me, that's kind of a head scratcher, the Mike Gesicki. But for now, I give it overall a B for those two. The Cleveland Browns traded for Kenny Pickett. Well, I guess they got a Super Bowl quarterback on their team finally. And this does not move the needle for me. I think Jameson Winston is way better than Kenny Pickett, but what am I to say? And also, Kenny Pickett, when he's on the field, he makes terrible decisions. He just coughs up the ball left and right. And also, in the 3 years he's been in the NFL, he's got 7 touchdown passes, 6 touchdown passes, and last year he only played in a couple games, but 2 touchdown passes. This is awful. Like, in full seasons, you're only throwing 7, 6 touchdown passes. No wonder Steelers got rid of you. And once again, Eagles got rid of you as well. I don't know why. I'm giving this, I have to say, a C minus, just because it just doesn't make sense, doesn't move the needle. I mean, I see them actually drafting a quarterback still. I don't know if he'll be the number 2 overall pick, but to me, this is you know what? This has got to be a D plus. I just don't like it. D plus for the Browns so far with their skilled position off-season free agent signings or trades. Moving on to the Steelers. He's back. And it's not either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. It's Mason Rudolph. 1 year, $4.5 million. They also traded for DK Metcalf. They traded a second, and then they signed him for a 5-year, $150 million deal. My grade for their offseason free agents is a C+. You need somebody better than Mason Rudolph to throw the ball. I know he did some decent signs and showed he was an okay quarterback last year in guards of starting for the Titans. In 8 games, he had 9 touchdown passes, but in those 8 games, he also had 9 interceptions. So he does turn the ball over a lot. I just thought they would get an actual better quarterback. Maybe Russell Wilson still lingering around for them to sign him with, I don't know why the hell you want Aaron Rodgers, but he's just going to be, he's going to ruin your franchise. To me, I just feel like you needed somebody better than him. I mean, the price is pretty damn good for 4.5 for a quality backup, or a okay backup, I guess. But they need somebody better than Mason Rudolph being their quarterback 1. And who knows, maybe they get Jackson Dart at 21 in the NFL draft. I think they just re-sign Russell Wilson and be done with it. DK Metcalf is not bad to trade for, but that's if you're missing an X receiver, which they kind of already have in George Pickens. So this, to me, is another head scratcher. I keep on thinking of the meme of the Spider-Man guys all pointing at each other, and it just, who's going to get the ball, you or me, kind of thing with DK and George Pickens. That's why I have his C+. Like, I love DK Metcalf being on the Steelers. They just need somebody to throw the ball to these guys. Unless if somehow they make it work with DK and Pickens both outside, and maybe having last year's rookie Roman Wilson running over the middle, or Pat Freiermuth. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. The Baltimore Ravens, they signed DeAndre Hopkins, 1 year, $6 million. I give this a B minus. This kind of reminds me a couple of years ago of them signing OBJ, but Hopkins is on the wrong side of 30. This looks to add depth to the wide receiver room for Baltimore. And we seen last year, Zay Flowers missed the final game of the season and all of the postseason due to his injury. Hopefully this signing will help boost that depth. I know Hopkins really didn't fit in well in my opinion, for the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought he was, but it almost kind of looks like the Julio Jones effect, where he starts, he's still up here and then you decline real quick. And it's not, subtle. It's literally jump off a cliff and dying. I mean, it's also Baltimore. That's where all good receivers go and die, in my opinion. That's where they sign and forever be done with football. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Palmer, 3 years, $36 million with 18 guaranteed. I give this a D. Palmer's best season, 72 catches, 769 yards, 3 scores. That was in 2022. Since then, he has not had over 40 catches and no more than 600 yards receiving since 2022. I don't see him getting I didn't really see him getting an average of 12 million a year. He is just not worth it to me. I would have much rather had a Demarcus Robinson or some sort of wide receiver like that. But to me, that is just a bad signing. I don't like it. I don't feel happy with Josh Palmer. I give that a D. Moving on, the Miami Dolphins, Nick Westbrook-Akine, 2 years, $8.25 million. And also they signed Zach Wilson, 1 year, $6 million. I give this grade a B. Nick Westbrook-Akine for only $4 million on average is a damn good deal, in my opinion. I just mentioned what Palmer got. Like, he's getting $12 million. You could get 3 of these Nick Westbrook-Akines. I just don't understand it. And Palmer just hasn't impressed me in the last couple of years. Nick Westbrook-Akine, every time he catches the ball, he scores a touchdown. I mean, hell, last season, he has 32 catches, but 9 of those for touchdowns. He'll have to beat out Malik Washington to be the wide receiver 3 on the Miami Dolphins. But I can see a path for him to have another 4 touchdowns this year, just because we know Jalen Waddle misses at least 1 to 3 games every year. Tyreek Hill, I mean, I'm sure he's still back on the Dolphins, but he's getting up there in age too. And Malik Washington, if you beat him out, like, you're the number 3 guy in Miami. Wilson is bound to get some playing time since Tua has missed plenty of games throughout his career, and in the last few seasons, he's missed multiple games. I think Wilson, honestly, is a big upgrade compared to Skylar Thompson, Tyler Huntley, and Tim Boyle from last year, starting while Tua missed games. So if you could actually get him in Dynasty relatively cheap, it's probably a good dart throw to throw out there. And I mean, what the hell is a 4th round, 5th, or, a third round for Zach Wilson might get it done too. And he's probably going to give you at least 2 starts this year, especially in Superflex leagues. That can be valuable, especially later on in the season. Zach Wilson's former team, the New York Jets, signed Justin Fields, 2 years, $40 million. To me, I give this grade an A. I really like Fields, and for fantasy mindset and for us fantasy gamers, I freaking love this. He was a quarterback 6 on the year before getting replaced by Russell Wilson last year. Now he's paired up with his old college teammate Garrett Wilson, which I think he's set for a big year too. He's going to have 1,107 touchdowns this year, I feel like. And I think Justin Fields can finish in the top 6, maybe even top 5 for fantasy. I mean, his per, NFL standards, he might not be all there, but for us fantasy gamers, hell yeah. Like, he's a top 5 guy in fantasy leagues. I definitely love the outlook for him. And, it's a new generation for the New York Jets and new culture, hopefully, with signing Aaron Glenn as the head coach. This is just the beginning. Patriots, Mac Hollins, 2 years, $10.4 million. I grade this a C. To me, it's just average. It's mid, I guess you'd say. I guess that's what the cool kids say now, right? It's definitely not the wide receiver we all have hoped and thought the Patriots would get, but he will help to stretch a field just like he did in Buffalo. Maybe opening up plays for Demario Douglas or Keyshawn Boutte underneath, and who knows, they might even get Tet McMillan. It's left to be seen. The Colts, they sign Daniel Jones, 1 year, $14 million. I think he might be the highest backup quarterback. And Ashton Doolin, 2 years, 8.5. I grade this a B. I like and love bringing in Daniel Jones because I just don't believe in Anthony Richardson. I don't think he's the answer. I think he's going to cost the GM and the head coach their jobs after this season, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. He hasn't proven anything in the NFL. I just don't like the fact, one, he's very inaccurate as hell. 2, doesn't put the time and effort into learning and studying from what I've heard. 3, he's having serious back injuries already. Like, he's crawling around his house to get place to place, and he's only 22 freaking years old. If you're having that much pain and issues with your back and you're only 22 and you're not driven to be good in this league, you're not going to make it. I just don't see it. Also, in the 2 seasons that he has played or been in the NFL, he's only appeared in 15 total games. That's not going to cut it. I just don't like it. I love the signing for Daniel Jones to come in and probably start at least 5 games, I'm going to say. Doolin signing is just for depth, even though, I know the Podfather loves Doolin, and I just think he's just going to be a depth piece for this team. The Jaguars, Hunter Long, 2 years, $5 million. He's a tight end. Johnny Munt, 2 years, $5.5 million. And Dynami Brown, 1 year, $10 million. To me, I'm giving this a C-. I don't know much about Hunter Long, except for he's more of a inline blocker. I don't see anything coming out of him or being fantasy relevance. Johnny Munt will help fill the big void left behind by Evan Ingram, but won't fill his shoes at all. And just off topic, I suggest looking at Brenton Strange in Dynasty Leagues. If you could get him for cheap, why not throw it out there? He's going to be running the Cade Otton of this offense and Liam Cohen's offense. Brown exploded during the playoffs with the Commanders, so hopefully that continues and he does well in a Jags uniform. These 3 moves happened just because they traded away Christian Kirk and released Evan Ingram. I just don't see much value, and Dynami Brown, he's going to be just like Gabe Davis on the same team, field stretcher. He's younger than Gabe Davis, but I don't see much fantasy relevance for these guys. Maybe Brown if he continues to have what he had in the playoffs. The Texans trading for Christian Kirk, signing Braxton Berrios, 1 year, $2 million, and Justin Watson. I grade this a B minus. I really love the Christian Kirk trade because Tank Dell is not going to be playing in 2025. And Christian Kirk is just a couple years removed from 1,100 yards receiving and finishing as wide receiver 11 in 2023. If he can stay healthy, he can contribute in a big way with Nico Collins running down the field, stretching it. And you got Christian Kirk running over the middle, catching anything and everything. They traded a 2026 sixth-round pick for Kirk, which is not much, but Kirk is getting paid $16.25 million this year. So to fork out that kind of bag to keep him on this team, that's means he's going to be heavily involved in this offense or what they want to obtain in this offense. Berrios and Watson just add depth. Also, Berrios is in line to be the return specialist. So it's a good move in my eyes to have Berrios as your return specialist. The Tennessee Titans, they signed Van Jefferson, 1 year, $2.5 million. I grade this a D, maybe an F. I'm just being a nice guy. He's just maybe going to replace Nick Westbrook-Akine, but I thought they'd be more active in free agency, and they just haven't been. Van Jefferson, he's just going to be sitting there. I'm going to say an F. Like, it's just terrible. He's never done anything really in his career this year or in the NFL. Surprised he's kind of still in the NFL, but whatever. I just don't like the signing personally. I thought they'd be more active on the other side of the ball or like other positions, maybe a quarterback. That just means to me that they're probably going to draft Cam Ward at 1 overall. Tight end, they could have used an upgrade. I mean, Chig Okonkwo, he's not terrible, I guess. Your running backs are pretty solid on. Receivers, you could definitely use a better player than Van Jefferson. Moving on, Broncos signing Evan Ingram, 2 years, $23 million, 16.5 is guaranteed. They also signed Trent Sherfield, 2 years, $8 million. I give this grade A minus. I love Ingram signing. In Dynasty, I want to try to get as much Ingram shares as I can. Sean Payton said it multiple times. He wants somebody that can be a joker in this offense. I can see Ingram being that joker in this offense. He could catch the crap out of the ball. He could block. He could stay in line. He could release. I think this is a great signing. He's a better catcher rather than a blocker, but I mean, you can line him also in the slot and he could play out of the slot. This just means they probably will look elsewhere also in the first round instead of drafting. I had them projected drafting like Colson Loveland or, Tyler Warren, whatever, a tight end in the first round. This might mean they could look elsewhere like a running back, Omarion Hampton. That would be a freaking match made in heaven if I have to say so myself, but we'll wait and see NFL draft. I think Sherfield is just another depth piece for this offense. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. Mike Williams, 1 year, $6 million, and Najee Harris, 1 year, up to $9.5 million. I give this an A- as well. I like the Mike Williams back in a Chargers uniform. I'm sure Justin Herbert really likes it too. Gone for one season, coming back like he never left. Having him stretch a field along with Quentin Johnston, leaving Ladd McConkey open over the middle and catching anything underneath. He's probably due for another big season, another 1,100-yard season. That's Ladd McConkey I'm talking about. Mike Evans, you're probably going to get 500 to 700 yards receiving, in my opinion. But I do like him being only worth $6 million, considering he just signed, what was it, a 1 year, $15 million for the New York Jets. And for Najee Harris, this is a big boost for the run game, I believe. Yes, J.K. Dobbins was having a great year at the beginning of the season. The problem is he cannot stay healthy to save his freaking life. In all the years, he's just missing games, missing seasons, and he just can't stay healthy. What good is a player if you can't have him on the field? Well, Najee Harris has been in the league 4 years. Guess how many games he's missed? 0 games. 4 straight years of playing 17 straight games. And they've been in the playoffs, so he's played in that as well. To be honest, that's just very impressive for a running back this day and age to play every single game in 4 straight years. And I really love Harris with this great O-line. He has potential to be finishing as an RB1 on the season. That is in the realm of possibilities. It also depends on if they decide to draft a running back that could take away touches or catches out of the backfield. But I do like Harris in this landing spot. I'm trying to get shares in my dynasty leagues personally, and I just love the thought of him being there. Kansas City Chiefs, Elijah Mitchell, 1 year, $3.5 million. They re-sign Marquise Hollywood Brown, 1 year, $11 million. And they re-sign Kareem Hunt to a 1-year deal worth up to $2.5 million. I grade this a B-. If Mitchell can stay healthy, this would be a great add in pairing with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. I think Hunt returning and signing of Mitchell could very well mean that they might not be drafting any running back in this loaded running back draft class. If Mitchell can stay healthy, we've seen him have good fantasy production for us, but he's not going to overstep Isaiah Pacheco. Kareem Hunt is back on the team. Mitchell's missed the last 2 seasons, I believe, with injuries. I have a hard time seeing him being more than running back 3 on the team. But I do like the signing of Brown, though. He didn't play much last year because of due to injury, but when out there, he was effective on the offense side of the ball, and the team seemed to be in rhythm and move along with him. Also, having the unknown of the suspension of Rashee Rice and him returning from his torn ACL, it's a good signing, and especially just when they get everyone healthy and back, you have the emergence of Xavier Worthy, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and Rashee Rice as your 3 wide receiver set. And then you have future Hall of Famer Travis Kelce. What are they going to do? You got speed, except for Travis Kelce is getting much slower, but he's great underneath, and he'll sit in your little zone and catch the crap out of the ball. I love having that type of offense. I think Patrick Mahomes starts doing well. He's probably going to have another top 10 finish this coming year. The Las Vegas Raiders signed Raheem Mostert, 1 year, $2.1 million. I grade this a C. Not the player I seen Raiders actually picking up. It's not somebody that moves the needle or I'm wowed about. I just feel like it's just a good signing for a veteran to go there. I think he's going to kind of do the same thing as what Miami did. They're going to draft a running back. He's going to help them, coach them up, give them the ins and outs of the NFL and kind of do what Miami did, one season with Achane, and then they passed the reins to Achane last season. The year before, Moser had 20 touchdowns or whatever it was. I don't think that's in the possibilities for him. I just don't think that's going to happen for him. But I am happy that he is part of a team because I've always liked Raheem Mostert. I just don't see much fantasy relevance or anything coming from this signing. I also think Raiders are going to draft a rookie in the second round, being Quinshon Junkins, or even Travion Henderson, or you never know, Ashton Jeanty, number 6 overall. We'll be waiting and seeing. And now let's move to the NFC side of things. The Chicago Bears, Zacchaeus, wide receiver from Commanders last year. I give this a B-. He was a safety blanket last year for Jaden Daniels. He pretty much caught anything Daniels threw to him, but now he's also replacing Keenan Allen and helping this Bears pass attack. Also, he is a blocking receiver too, so that might be very helpful in what Ben Johnson wants in this offense. He's going to be their wide receiver 3 behind Roman Dunze and DJ Moore, but I do like the signing of getting another veteran receiver and somebody that can actually catch. They didn't do anything. Same with the Packers, so those grades are NA, or if you really want me a grade, Lions, I think they re-signed Tim Patrick, I guess. That's okay. I guess a C for that because it doesn't move the needle to me. It's just another guy that knows the system, knows the offense. He's going to contribute. Hopefully he doesn't take touchdowns away from my Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he did last year, you bastard. Green Bay, maybe that should be like a D because they haven't done anything on the offense side of the ball, where we're all projecting maybe a signing of a wide receiver 1 or trading for a DK Metcalf. I thought there's so many reports. Oh, they're in the mix for DK. I would have gave up a second round for DK if I was the Packers, but I'm going, okay, I'll give them a D because they're not doing anything, not active. They don't need a receiver or a wire or quarterback with Jordan Love. They don't need a running back. Tight ends are stacked. It's just that number 1 true alpha. Maybe they think Dontavian Wicks is going to be that guy. I don't know. Moving on, though, Minnesota Vikings re-signing Aaron Jones, and then they also trade for Jordan Mason from the 49ers. I give this grade a B, with Jones back for Minnesota after a very quiet but productive season with the Vikings. In 2024, he finished as a RB15. And to me, that maybe it's just because I wasn't watching many games of him because I didn't see a whole lot of him, and he fumbled so many times within the goal lines. But him finishing as RB15 was probably one of the most quiet RB15 seasons I've ever heard. But he is entering the season as a 30-year-old running back. We have seen a decline for 30-year-old running backs before, but adding in Jordan Mason will help them get through, especially if Aaron Jones misses any times. We seen last year Jordan Mason filling in for CMC. He definitely will easily fill in for Aaron Jones if he does miss any time. He'll fill those shoes. Also, Mason is a big body running back, so he will help this team when they're down by the goal line. I see him getting 8 to 10 touchdowns rushing this year if I had to put a bet on it. Commanders re-signing Noah Brown, re-signing Marcus Mariota, 1 year, $8 million, re-signing Zach Ertz, 1 year, $6.25 million, and trading for Deebo Samuel. I give this an A-. I like the re-signing of Brown, helps replace the departure of Zacchaeus. Mariota gives you a security blanket behind Jaden Daniels if anything were to so happen to him. Also, having Zach Ertz back on the roster is huge as he finished the season as tight end 7 on the year. This also gives another year of helping Ben Sinnott establish himself as a tight end in this league, because we all know that is the hardest position to come out of college and be ready in the NFL, just besides Brock Bowers, because that dude's a phenom. I don't know what to say. I also like the Deebo Samuel trade, since this gives the offense side of the ball another weapon. Commanders needed that to help relieve Terry McLaurin and stretch the field. Samuel still can run. He's always getting dinged up, banged up, whatever, but I think he's good still. And it helps give this Commanders team a more spread offense. And I like this trade. Dallas Cowboys, oh man. Resign Katavian Turpin, 3 years, $18 million, 5.5 guaranteed. Javonte Williams, 1 year, $3 million. And Miles Sanders for a 1-year deal. I ranked this a C. I like Turpin re-signing because he's a good returner, but it won't help much in the receiving game, as I would say. They have to do design plays for him to get involved with his speed and use that effectively. Williams and Sanders, oh man, are both not the players we once seen. Williams has yet to break the leash of becoming a dominant running back like we thought he would after his rookie season, because he got the injury of his ACL. He's never been the same. He's been kind of in Sean Payton's doghouse, having that 3 running back head in Denver, never getting Williams a real good shot, and eventually moved on and kicked him out. Sanders is mid, I guess. Once again, what are the cool kids use nowadays? With being 27 years old, yeah, this isn't 2022 anymore. He had a monster year and never lived up to the contract he received from the Carolina Panthers, and that's why they released him, but that's why he's on the Dallas Cowboys. To me, you would have been better off signing maybe Williams and re-signing Rico Dowell, maybe. I think those are just horizontal moves. Maybe they go into the draft and select somebody, but as of right now, Jerry being Jerry, you never freaking know. I think they're just going to have him go with the 2 running backs and maybe find somebody late. I maybe a Cam Skadaboo, just because he likes people giving effort, and that's what Cam Skadaboo does. Eagles, Kenneth Gainwell, 1 year, $1.79 million. It's a C. He's going to be a backup always to Saquon Barkley, and now perhaps even Will Shipley might be the RB2 with them, with him being a second year running back. They start tending to learn more and contribute more. Giants, Darius Slayton, 2 years, $36 million. I don't think he's worth. Did he really sign 2 years, $36 million? 18 million? Okay, maybe that's like a C minus. I don't think he's worth 18 million by any means. Yes, he's still only 28. Hasn't had good fancy finishes for us, but has had over 700 yards receiving in 4 of his 6 NFL seasons. The Buccaneers, they re-signed Chris Godwin, 3 years, $66 million. 44 is guaranteed. I grade this an A. I hope Godwin recovers from his knee injury and returns to form like he once did already in his NFL career. He is also on pace before his knee injury to have a career season. So hopefully he can come back strong and healthy and return to form. And from what I've heard, he took like a pay cut basically to stay with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, leaving roughly $20 million on the table. That's what I heard from the Patriots wanted to sign him, but he left that much money on the table. The Falcons haven't done anything. I think it's more of a cap salary thing. Maybe, okay, we'll just say a C because they haven't done anything. They don't really need any skilled positions off the top of my head with them spending a crap ton of money on Kirk Cousins, and he hasn't been released or traded or anything like that. Carolina Panthers, Rico Dowell, 1 year, $3 million. That's a B plus to me. It's a good signing, I believe. Chuba Hubbard went down late in the season with no actual backup since Jonathan Brooks retore his ACL and won't be playing in 2025. This gives the Panthers a solid backup and can spot start if needed. Dowell had over 1,000 yards rushing last year, so I see that also cutting into Chuba Hubbard's play as well and getting more time, I believe. New Orleans Saints, Juwan Johnson, 3 years, $30 million, 0.75. I give this an A minus just because with this New Orleans Saints having trouble in their salary cap department, but still signing players is nice to see, giving Kellen Moore a better competing team. I just like the Johnson signing, and to me, I think he's going to finish as a tight end 1 on the season, probably in the top 10 actually, because I think Taysom Hill will be a post-June first cut since he won't play, if any, of 2025 recovering from his knee injury. So I do like the Juwan Johnson signing. Arizona Cardinals re-signed Zay Jones, 1 year, $4.4 million, and Jacoby Brissett. I give this a C plus. Zay Jones didn't play much last year or even the last 2 seasons, only appearing in 20 games in the last 2 seasons. But in 2022, he did have a career best 82 catches for 823 yards and 5 touchdowns. If he can stay healthy, he could remain number 3 wide receiver on this team, especially since I have yet to see Greg Dortch get re-signed yet. So he does have that in the possibility of being wide receiver 3. Jacoby Brissett is a serviceable backup in the NFL, giving them better chance to win if something were to happen to Kyler. It's a better option than Clayton Tune. I just think it's a good signing. Rams, Jimmy G is back, 1 year, $11 million, and Devontae Adams, 2-year, $44 or $46 million. I give this a B plus. Jimmy G is a capable backup and paid as one of the highest to do so. Devontae Adams has now taken Cooper Kupp's roster spot on this Rams team. Adams, while missing multiple games, he still somehow managed to finish wide receiver 12 on the season. Kupp's production straight decline last year, whereas Adams ascended. Maybe it's because he had Aaron Rodgers, his best friend and partner in crime. Maybe that had something to do with it. But Devontae Adams has the possibility of finishing as a wide receiver 1 in 2025. But he will be second in command behind Puka Nacua. Seattle Seahawks. Marquise Valdez-Scantling, 1 year, $5.5 million. Sam Darnold, 3 years, $100 million, $55 is guaranteed. And Cooper Kupp, 3 years, $45 million. I give this a B. I like the MVS taking on kind of the DK Metcalf role, being the field stretcher, straight line, speed. He's got it all. And he's played with multiple MVP quarterbacks, so he knows what to do and how to separate himself. Sam Darnold, that's a great signing, especially since they decided to trade away Geno Smith for a third-round pick. I just hope he doesn't see ghosts in big-time games like he always has. That's what scares me. Cooper Kupp signing is a little bit of a head-scratcher to me when you have JSN, who plays primarily out of slot. Now those two are basically the same kind of guy. They both play slot. Now they're going to have to go back and forth. I don't know what they're going to do, who's playing primarily slot and who's playing outside. I just don't like this signing as much. Maybe I should have graded it a B minus or C plus just because of that factor. I think this is arrows down for JSN just because I don't know if he's going to play primarily slot going forward. And the last team, the 49ers, Mac Jones, 2 years, $7 million, and DeMarcus Robinson, 2 years, $9.5 million. I give this a C plus. I'm grading based on these two signings. If I had to do their whole freaking offseason, it'd probably be a D because they just have let everyone go. I know they don't have much money when they're trying to sign all these other players, but I'm grading it only on these two players. C plus. Mac Jones was one of the better backups last season. We seen it when he replaced Trevor Lawrence when he went down. He had a couple of good games. I also like Robinson too, getting him for a deal that is pretty much a steal, in my opinion, averaging less than $5 million a year. That's a steal for DeMarcus Robinson. He does all the right things. He blocks and he catches. He doesn't have many drops, but I like the signing for him. Let me know what you think. Did I do okay for the grades? Who is one player you wish your team signed and where? Let me know. I want to know your thoughts. And finally, we'll get to Louis' Rookie of the Week. This is a new segment I'm going to start up until the NFL draft. I'll be mentioning players who I like in the later rounds in rookie dynasty drafts. Yes, I could easily mention all the projected first rounders. Oh, draft that guy, draft this guy. But I want to cover some of them under the radar rookies. So each week I will give you a rookie to watch out for and why I would consider drafting them in your rookie drafts. For the first Louis' Rookie of the Week, there's no other than LaQuint Allen, running back from Syracuse. You may have seen me flag plant him in some of the YouTube shorts or on TikTok or whatever we have going on here. at Player Profiler, but I just want to make him my number one guy because he does not get the love I think he deserves. But be sure to check those out. Check out the Player Profiler YouTube shorts, the TikTok we have going on. To me, he is my RB10 on my list for this year's running back rookies. So let's break him down. But first, I got to ask, do you know who led the nation in 2023 in receptions as a running back? Oregon's Bucky Irving with 56 catches. In his last two seasons, Irving finished with 1,058 yards rushing with 5 touchdowns, along with 31 catches for 299 yards and another 3 scores in 2022. His final season, though, in Oregon, he finished with 1,180 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, and led the nation with 56 catches for 413 yards and another 2 scores. The big reason why Irving fell in most drafts and rookie drafts was his 40 time and his size. He measured in at the combine last year at 5'9", 192 pounds. He definitely did not look that way in game speed or game tape. His 40 time was clocked at 4.55 with a 1.54 10-yard split. He also had a 29.5-inch vertical and a 9-foot 7-inch broad jump. He ended up being drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 4th round, where now he is a starter ahead of Rashad White and Sean Tucker, which is another Syracuse running back. But let's switch gears and look at LaQuint Allen, his stats in his combine. In 2023, he rushed for 1,064 yards, 9 touchdowns, and caught 38 passes for 210 yards and 1 score. So essentially, he did better than Bucky Irving in his sophomore year. This last season, he rushed for another 1,000 yards for 1,000 yards or 1,021 yards with 16 touchdowns. He too also led the nation with 64 catches for a running back, 521 yards and 4 touchdowns. Just like Irving, he had back-to-back 1,000 yards rushing and led the nation his final season in catches from a running back position. Now for his combine stats, he came in measuring at 6 foot, 204. So Allen is bigger than Irving is. The only thing that disappoints me is he did not run the 40 at the combine, and on Monday, he did not run the 40 at his pro day. And that irritates me, but I could get behind it. He's better pass catching. That's what he's going to be known for in the NFL. This could very well make him slide in drafts, making it better for you and better for me because I'm going to draft a crap ton of him. But he had a 35-inch vertical and a 10-foot broad jump, which both are better than Irving did. Allen is bigger. I don't know if he's really faster, but to me, he looks faster in game tape and more productive than the best running back of last year's class, Bucky Irving. How can you not like this guy? He gives you big upside like Irving did last year. And to me, if you can find LaQuint Allen in your rookie drafts in late 2nd, 3rd, even maybe in 4th round, what a steal that would be. I mean, hell, in a couple of my dynasty leagues, Bucky Irving was a third, fourth rounder. Like that's a steal for them. Here at Player Profiler, if you look at his player comps, also check out all Player Profiler rankings and everything else we have going on. But his player comp is Zach Charbonnet. If you could get a guy like Zach Charbonnet in the third round of your rookie draft, I say do it. Especially when Zach Charbonnet came into the league behind Ken Walker. He was still a first rounder in rookie drafts in most of them. But once again, LaQuint Allen is Louis' Rookie of the Week. Get you some. And that is a wrap of today's episode of Player Profiler News Primetime. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe. And for more expert analysis and fantasy tips, remember to follow us on Twitter, as well as follow myself, Louis Lewis 5, and give my podcast a listen to, please, at Fantasy Endzone. I'll see you fantasy gamers next week. Peace.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to PlayerProfiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, Data Analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.